Okay, so this is the first video in a series just going through and reviewing the diagnostic test that you wrote in October for us. Okay, so the focus for this particular video is going to be on the short writing task or paragraph that you wrote for us on the historical figures. So once you have your booklet in front of you, what I would like you to do is to open up your booklet and look to this page here. Okay, the short was a short writing task, and the question was identify a historical figure you would like to meet. Use specific details to explain why you have chosen this person. And I've underlined specific details here because that's going to be important in this video and in our lesson today. All right. So this is what I would like you to do right now. Okay. I would like you to read over your answer. Read your answer over very carefully. Okay. Take some time here, a couple of seconds here to read your answer over, as well as any other comments that may have been made in that marking process. So do that now, please. Okay, so you've read your answer over. You have read the comments. Okay, what I would like you to do now is to get an understanding of how that question was evaluated or marked or graded. Okay, I think part of a big thing here in preparing for this test and doing these practice questions is understanding really how these questions are marked. So this particular question was marked using this scale, and I'm going to spend some time here and really go over what all of this means. Okay, so this question was marked on a scale from blank to a code 30, and I'm going to focus on right now, because for most of us I'm going to focus on code 10, code 20, and code 30, because for most of us these were this is where the range though where we fell into. Okay, I'm not going to really worry about the blank off-topic eligible at all right now. Okay, what I'm going to worry about is code 10, code 20, and code 30. All right, and I'll go through each of these. Right, where we need to be and where you need to be as a writer and as a student that's answering these questions is the goal here is code 30. All right, and we're going to walk through this right now. All right, so it's going to be code 10, code 20, and code 30 that I want you to be aware of. Specifically, the goal is to achieve and get to a code 30 and stay there if you're already there. Okay, I'll talk about all of this stuff up here in a minute, and let's walk through what a code 10 is, okay? And what does that mean, and more importantly, what does that look like? So a code 10 is a response. What they say is, EQAO says, is that is not developed or is developed with irrelevant ideas and information. So what that basically means is that the response describes a historical figure, you have a historical figure, but you don't really explain why you've chosen this figure at all. Or, as it says down here, the second one, it identifies and describes the historical figure, but really provides generic details. So what does that mean, and what does that look like? Because some of you in the room right now may have a code 10 in front of you, okay? What that means is that your reader is left quite confused, all right? Your reader is left confused as to why you've really chosen that historical figure. So here's an example. So, again, the question is, identify a historical figure you would like to meet. Use specific details to explain why you have chosen this person. So here's an answer. This was marked as, this is a real student answer, not from us, but from that was submitted 1 year in one test. Okay, it says, one historical figure I would like to meet is Abraham Lincoln. I would like to meet him because he seems very nice. So this was graded as a code 10. Okay, so let's go through and see exactly why this was graded as a code 10. It has the clear figure. The clear figure is there, Abraham Lincoln. They have identified an historical figure, as it says here. The response identifies a historical figure, Abraham Lincoln. But there is a big but here. The but is it provides a generic explanation. He seems very nice. It's generic support. This could be really about anything. Okay? It seems very nice as to why this person was chosen. The response is what's called underdeveloped. So if we go back to our code piece here, either an explanation is not provided or an explanation is underdeveloped. The reader's confused. So here we go again. So we have the clear figure, but there's the generic support. The question says use specific details. This student here did not use specific details. It is too generic, and as a result, the response is called underdeveloped. That's a code 10, okay? Because generic could be really about anything. So if we go back to our question here, or our answer here, he seems very nice could apply to me. It could apply to Mr. McDougall. It could apply to Santa Claus. It could apply to really anybody. Okay, it's nothing specific to Abraham Lincoln. So that is a code 10. Generic could be about anything. The details could be about anything. Here's what a code 20 looks like now. Okay, so this is the one step beyond code 10. Excuse me. So code 20, the response is developed, but with vague details and information. So we're no longer generic, we're vague. It may contain some irrelevant ideas and information. So again, the response identifies a historical figure, but either provides a vague explanation or provides a vague connection between the details that were provided and the reason why you selected that historical figure. Okay? The key word here is vague. All right? So we've moved beyond generic to vague. So what does this look like? Okay? Well, this looks like at the end the reader is left guessing. Okay? So now we have a situation previously with code 10, right? With code 10, the reader was confused. Here, the reader is left guessing. Okay? They're left guessing in terms of the connection between why you selected that historical figure, your historical figure, and the reason you actually selected that historical figure. They're left guessing to making those links. Okay? So here's an example. Let's take a look. Okay? So again, the question is, identify a historical figure you would like to meet. Use specific details to explain why you have chosen this person. So here's this student's answer here. A historical figure that I would like to meet is Anne Frank. I've chosen this person because I have read her published diary, and I think that she's a very strong, generous, and independent person. She's an inspiration to me, so I would choose her. It seems like a fairly good answer. It has the clear figure, Anne Frank, but if we look at it, this is a vague support. These are vague details. So let's look at the comments that were left here for this one. The response identifies a historical figure. So that's why that automatically makes it a code 10. Now, it's a code 20 because of the vague details. So let's take a little bit, a little deeper look into this, okay? The response identifies a historical figure, Anne Frank, and provides a vague explanation. I've read her diary. She's a very strong, generous, and independent person. She's an inspiration. These are really good examples, folks, but what the challenge here is, there's still no connection as to what is it about all of this stuff that made you choose her. Okay? So the reader is left guessing because the details were not specific. Okay? The reader has to make the connection between the support provided and what is intended to prove. All that means is the reader is left making the connection between all of this stuff here. I think she's a very strong, generous, and independent person, as to why this person chose Anne Frank. Right? Vague details. So vague means they're unclear connections. So the connection between the reason this was highlighted in orange and the reason that they would like to meet Anne Frank is not clear. Okay? It's not specific enough. Right? The reader is left guessing, as I say. Okay? Here's what a code 30 looks like. So a code 30 here is the response is developed with clear, specific, and relevant ideas and information. Okay? The word specific is key. The response identifies a historical figure and uses specific and relevant details to explain clearly why the person was chosen. So the reader's not left guessing with this. This is the difference between a code 20 and a code 30. The reader is not left guessing. Rather, the reader is left with a full explanation. Okay, a clear explanation as to why that person was chosen. So let's take a look at an example here. Okay, so again, the question reads, identify a historical figure you would like to meet. Use specific details to explain why you have chosen this person. So the historical figure that I would like to meet is Justin Trudeau. There are many reasons to why I want to meet him. He was the first prime minister to take part in the LGBT parade. He was welcomed by many Syrian refugees to our country, and he has a diverse cabinet. These are some of the few reasons to why I want to meet him. So let's go back and take a look here. Clear figure, Justin Trudeau. Okay? Clear historical figure. Specific support. Okay? With specific details. So let's look at the comments here. The response identifies a historical figure, Justin Trudeau, and uses specific and relevant details. The first prime minister to take part in the LGBT parade, welcome Syrian refugees, has a diverse cabinet, to explain clearly why this person was chosen. Okay? These are some of the few reasons why I want to meet him. So what we have here, folks, is an answer that clearly identifies a historical figure. It uses specific details. And the support here, there's no guessing here. It's a clear explanation of these are the reasons why they would like to meet him. Right? So specific means clear and relevant connections. The connections to here, these connections to this is clear, okay? The support is as to why they want to meet Justin Trudeau is clearer than it is in code 20, the example, okay? All right. Time to edit. So this is the task right now. This is what I would like everyone to do, is to, again, take a look at your answer, okay? Your historical figure answer. And this is step one. I want you to underline your historical figure. I want you to underline your historical figure or highlight it, doesn't matter, all right? The historical figure you have chosen. That's step one. Do that now, please. Here is step two. Okay, you should have been able to underline your historical figure. Here's step two. I want you to think about what kind of details did you provide? And I want you to underline them. Were they generic details, vague details or were they specific details? Okay, so were your details generic? As you're underlining your details, were they generic? Were they specific? Or were they vague? Generic, vague, or specific, sorry. So go back and look at the examples again. Do your details look like this? That's a code 10. He seems very nice. Do your details look like this? I have read her published diary and I think she's a strong, generous, and independent person. Very vague, nothing specific about Anne Frank. Again, it could be they're a bit better than seems very nice, but again, that could apply to me, or again, Mr. McDougall, or Ms. Walker, or really anybody, okay? Or do your details look like this? Very specific in terms of what makes that person a historical figure you would like to meet, okay? Very specific details here. So you need to decide right now as you're underlining your details, what are they? Are they generic, vague, or specific? Okay, so just get that in your head right now, what kind of details that you have. So if your details were generic or vague, I would like you to make them specific now. Okay, bump them up. Bump them up to being specific. So take the examples that we've gone through, okay, and make them, if they're generic or vague, make them more specific, okay? I want you to do that now, and then when you're done, I would like you to hand back your test, your revised historical figure task, okay? Hand back everything back to your teacher, and we will take a look at your revised answer, all right? And that's the lesson for today, and there will be other videos going through the remainder of your diagnostic test.